So guys, this is Theo here, and welcome to my tutorial on a mean stack end-to-end application using Angular 1, MongoDB, Express.js, and Node.js. So we're also going to use some Bootstrap, and we're going to use RoboMongo for the graphical user interface to look at our data, and we are going to deploy it to Heroku. So let me get started. I'm going to change directory into my desktop, and I'm going to make a directory called mean end to end. I'm going to cd into there, and I'm going to touch a package.json. I'm going to touch a server.js, make a directory called public, and I'm going to cd into my public folder. I'm going to touch a index.html file, cd out of there, and I am going to also make a directory called models, cd into models, and touch a models.js. We got that up and running, so let me open this up in Sublime. That's the text editor. I'm going to use my package.json. I'm going to give it an empty object, and then what we're going to do is we are going to do npm install. I'm going to use Express, Mongoose, body parser, and Morgan for logging. I'm going to save that, and this should run. See my node modules folder popped up right there. This will keep spinning, and we got all our dependencies in there. Let me start off in the server file. So in my server.js, I'm going to do var express, require express, and I'm going to require a few other things. Mongoose, require mongoose, var body parser, require body parser, and var Morgan equals require Morgan. So let me wire up a few of these things. We do var app express, invoke the express method to create a new instance of our application. From there, I'm going to do configure some middleware. So I'm going to do app.use body parser.json, so we can parse JSON, and I'm also going to do app.use body parser.url encoded. Extended is true if we want to configure or request more, or use something like Postman to test out our data. Next up is we're going to do app.use Morgan dev, so we can use it as our logger. We also want to configure our database real quick. So before I forget, let's do this. We'll do var db, and we're going to give it the connection string of MongoDB, and then it's going to be localhost. So it's going to be localhost, and then we're going to give it a name of mean end to end, and we're going to connect to our database. We're using mongoose.connect, pass the name of the DB, and then get a callback function which accepts an error and a response. And we're going to say if an error, console.log failed to connect to plus DB, else if it does connect, then we'll do console.log connected to plus DB. Awesome. Now that that's up, what we want to do next is we want to create a model. So I'm going to bring in our model up here. Say var model equals require. I know I'm doing a lot without testing something or testing anything out, but models and model.js. I just want to create this model real quick, and then I'll show you guys what I'm doing. Models.js. So in here we're going to require Mongoose. We have access to the object document mapper, and we can create our schema. So we'll do var schema equals mongoose.schema, and then we'll do var users schema is going to be a new schema, and this is passed an object. It's a function which takes in an object, and then we can have a name which is a string, and an age which is a number, and finally to register our schema, we'll say var model equals mongoose.model, and we pass it the name of our model users and what we define as our user schema. And finally, we will export our model right there, so it's good to go. We picked it up in here. So let me just test out that our server is actually running. So I'm going to do app.listen 3000, and this takes an optional callback function, which will say console.log listening on port 3000, and then from there I'm going to do nodemon If you don't know what nodemon is, it's a node module you can install globally that will watch for changes and restart your server as necessary. So let's run this. What is it saying? Cannot find module.models. Try that again. Not find module.models. .models. Oh, my bad. It's models. And that looks like you only need one dot. All right, connected. We're connected to our database. But let me show you guys that it is indeed working. So we're just going to create a quick route to /home, and then the second parameter is the callback function, and we'll do response.status 200.send. Just create an h1. And we'll say welcome to the mean stack, and awesome. Here it is. If we go in here, localhost 3000, and we do home, say welcome to the mean stack, and you can see the logging in here /home. And the first one was a 404, but this returns a 200. All right. So anything usually 200, and most of the 300s are good status codes. Anything 400 and up is usually server error or not found or forbidden. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, we don't actually want to serve all our routes like that. Even though it's a relatively small application, we want to use static files in this public folder. So we're going to configure our middleware to use that by using express static method. And you give this a directory name, and then the directory name, so public. And so inside here, it'll by default look for an index file, and we'll say mean stack end to end. And then let me get Bootstrap real quick on the CDN website, and then let me bring that in. So we'll do link and bring that, and then let me just do some very basic styling. Container, a row, column, medium 12, and h1, welcome to the mean stack. And now let me try wiring this up. Or let me try going to localhost 3000, welcome to the mean stack. It has indeed served our file. It's a get a 200. Awesome. So that's good to go. And next up will be we want to configure our API endpoints and actually hook into our database. So let's do that. We're going to configure some more middleware. We'll say app.use anything past the slash, past the root. Let our router take over. So we gotta create our router. So we'll do our router is expresses router. You can do this without expresses router, but I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna configure our API endpoints. API is an application programming interface. Basically, what that means in layman terms is you're gonna go to some URL that hosts data, and then you're gonna go and get that data and manipulate it to however your application needs. So think of it as just a endpoint that surfaces your data. So let's wire these up. This is a get. So if we go here, we expect to see all of our users. So we're going to do router dot get /API /users. It's a function. The callback function takes in a request and a response. So we're going to say now that we have our model, what we want to do when we go here, we want to return all of our users to whoever's asking. So we can do model, because we have our model right here. Model.find, and then pass this in an empty object, which tells Mongo we want to get everything. And this takes in a second function with an error and users. We're going to say if there's an error, we want to respond with a status code 44, and then we want to send this error back to the client. Else, we want to respond with a status code 200, and we want to send the users. So I think, let me see, if we try this out now, API /users, what are we going to get back? We're going to get back an empty. We're going to get back an empty object, and the reason for that is because we did not have any data in our database. Okay, so let's open up our Mongo server. So we're going to use mongod. I'm going to enter my password, and this is going to say, okay, MongoDB starting on the process ID. This is the port number. So I'd be curious actually to see what happens if you go to this port. Looks like you're trying to access. Okay, I've never done that, but I don't know why you'd want to go there really. But so you can look at all your data in a shell right here. So I'll do sudo mongo. It says it connects us to test, right? And we can show our DBs. You know, we don't actually have our DB wired up yet, which is end to end, but we can switch into it, and Mongo will create our database for us on the fly, and we can do db.users.insert. So we're going to insert some data into here, and we want a name to be Theo and an age to be 23. Then this should automatically write result inserted. That's a good sign. Now we can do db.users.find, and you can see, let me clean this up. Let me do .pretty, which will tidy it up for us. Awesome. So we do have a record in there, or a document rather, and Mongo has generated this object ID for us. So now let's try and access this again, this API with users. Okay, so I have a Chrome extension which is called, what is it called? JSON view. Sort of makes it look a lot nicer. So that's good. We're seeing our data from our API endpoint. Let's also see it in RoboMongo. I only got this just recently, but it's really, really cool. So this is going to show us our DBs, our databases on our local host. So I'm going to connect to this, collections and users. So we can see we can add here, we can query, you can really do whatever you want. I can change things in here if I want. I can go in here and I can edit the document to Theo. I can change it to my full name, Theodore. I can save this, and now that it is saved, I can come back in here, and this has indeed updated our API. So it's just a really nice interface to look at if you don't always want to look at the shell. I kind of prefer the RoboMongo, but again, I'm pretty new to it, so I am more comfortable with the shell. Anyways, now that we know we're actually getting data, we want to know, well, that's great and all, but how do we get this to the front end? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab Angular, and again, I'm using Angular 1, but eventually maybe I'll do this demo with Angular 2, and so let me grab that script and let's put it in here. So we're going to say script source and pass it that, and let's wire up our Angular app. So we're going to do ng app equals app. Then on here, we're going to change this to div with the ng view directive, and this is in the nature of the single page application. This is where we're going to start inserting in our views. So let me create a source with app.js, which is where we're going to create all of our Angular code, and we're going to wrap it in IFI so nothing is leaked to the global scope. Okay, even though that's probably not necessary in this application, but let's create our Angular app, angular.module app, and then we'll pass it ng-route. That's the other thing we need. We need the dependency on ng-route. I know some people might give me a hard time. Oh, why aren't you using UI router? I don't know. I don't really want to. That's why. So, but you could. I don't really see the benefits in an application like this. It's so small. Anyways, let's get that in there. So do script source. Now that we got that, let's configure our routes for the client. So the way we do this is we can do app.config, takes in a function, which takes in route provider. This service is coming from the ng route. If you don't believe me, you can look in that file. And this has a method on it called when, and as it might be intuitively inferred or thought of, this is going to let us configure our routes. So on here, this accepts the route and then an object, which you can configure it. So we're just going to do when route. We're only really going to have one route provider. This is going to be a truly single page application. Otherwise, so if it doesn't match any of these, then just take us back to the root. So .when route, the controller is going to be home controller, controller as, I'm going to alias it as VM for view model, and I'm going to give it a template URL of home.html. Let me create that. Home.html. This is going to take in a container, and prove to you guys this is working. I'm going to wire up my controller, app.controller, home controller function. This is going to use HTTP, so I'm going to inject that. Say var VM equals this, and I'll do VM.title is you are on the home controller. To show you this data is actually getting through, let me go in here and say VM.title. Now let's come back to our app. Let's load the root, and what error are we getting? I'm curious. Console injector module, regular, failed to instantiate app, module fails to load using ng route. Let me see what we're doing wrong this time. App.js, app.config, function route provider. I think that's why. Let me see. Let me try this again. Let me see. What are we doing wrong? Failed to instantiate app. Module app. App.controller, home controller function. True. Let me see. So that's it. No. Stack end to end. Am I still on here? Get app.js. Connected. No. Let me see. Index.app.js. And okay. Let me try this one more time. Why is it failing? Not sure what's failing. What is it saying? Module app is not available. Oh, I think I know what I have to draw. Okay, so app controller, home controller, VM, config, function, route provider, app.js, module. What did I do wrong? Module, app, config. Try this real quick. Module, app, controller, and let me load this one more time. Let me see, I might need to put it back in. Alright, this always happens to me, I don't know why. I'm going to separate it out later. Let me put it back in here for now, in a script. And our app, let me just do this real quick. Let me get it running. Okay, you're on the home controller. We'll figure that out down the road. I'm not entirely sure why that's the case. So you're on the home controller. That is indeed working. Let me just change these out to app. And app. And cool. That's good to go. Go in here, div container, and we'll give this an h1. And h1. Awesome. You're on the home controller. And now we want to sort of build out our UI, which is, this is what it's going to be. It's going to be a div with another container inside here, and this is going to be the user's container. And what this is going to do is it's going to house all of our users. So let's get our users. What we're going to do is we're going to do vm.getUsers is a function, and all it's going to do up here, we're going to create a users array. We're going to do http.get /API/users .then function response. Our promise is resolved. We'll say vm.users equals response.data, and in here we can do a table. We can give it a class of table, table ordered, table striped, table hovered, table condensed, and we'll give it a few THs. We'll do name, age, and TH actions. Let me see how this looks real quick. There, that's fine. And let me take out this URL on the home controller real quick. So I don't really like that anymore. It's kind of ugly. So, alright. That looks good. Name, age, and actions. And then we want to repeat. So we'll do a table row, and we'll do ng repeat user in vm.users, and then we'll apply some table data. So we'll do user.name, user.age, and then inside of here we'll create two buttons, button class of button, warning. This will be our edit, and we'll do button class of button, danger. This will be delete, and let's see how this works. No, we're not getting our data back. Let me see what the heck is the error now. Posted it long. Okay, we did not run our function. That's why. vm.get users. We run that. Okay, we're getting our data back from the API. That's pretty cool. I can prove that to you again if I were to go in here, ub.users.insert. I can insert a record. I'll do name is John and age is 30, and I can issue this query to the database by running it. Inserted one record. All right. Users.find. And then let me issue this query to the database. We are indeed getting back John, age 30, his object ID. Now if I refresh this, I should see two records. Cool. So that's all good. Getting back our data in our database. Now we want to implement these methods. So how do I create a user? I'm gonna create a little form down here, which is a div with a container of create users, and we're going to have a few inputs. So we're going to create a form group, and we're going to have a label for name, and an input type of text, and ID of name, and a class of form control, and a style of width. It's going to be 300 pixels. Let me see how that looks. Alright, that's not too bad. So let me copy this twice, and this is going to be age, and yeah, it doesn't look too bad, I guess. Alright, let me also hide this if not add user. So now it's hidden automatically because this is going to default to false. So we're going to create a button down here of button with a class of button primary, and we'll give this a style, or we'll just do button large. We'll say add a user. Let's see how that looks. Alright, that's a bit too much. Let's change that to medium. Alright, and what's going to happen with that is we're going to give this a click handler. When they click it, we're going to do add user is equal to not add user. So let's try this out. There it is. Add a user, and this should actually go away when we click it. So do ng hide if add user is equal to true. So let's try this out. Goes away, and then when this shows, we should also create some user interface component that allows us to go back. Button success is going to be back, and all this is going to do is do ng click equals add user is equal to false. Alright, let's try that out. So our interface is working, back, add user, cool. Alright, this is cool. Let's get some validation in here. So let's just do very simple validation. We'll do give this required, and required, and then we'll do min length. Or no, we don't need to do that. We'll just add these two as required, and then we'll also disable this button if we create a model, vm.model dot or vm.user.name, do not vm.user.name, or not vm.user.age, and then we'll wire these up with the ng model. So we'll do ng model equals vm.user.name, and then give this an ng model of vm.user.age, and if I implemented that logic correctly, add user, oh no, we didn't want to put it on the back, sorry. We're going to create another button right here in front of this, do button class equals button, danger warning, change this to success, and this can be the primary, and we'll do add. So let's change that. Add a user, add. Let me paste in this logic. Make sure it's disabled. Click it. There we go. It's disabled if these two are not filled out. Cool. We also want to change this to be a number. So let me change this to number. And awesome. So now this is indeed a number. Awesome. Cool. Let's go back, add user back. All right, let's work on creating our user. So when they hit this button, we're going to do ng click equals vm.add user. And this is going to take in the vm.user model. All right, so we want to create this method in here. So we're going to do vm.add user is a function, and we'll do which takes in a user. Let's just make sure we're getting our user. So console.log user. So let's try this out. Let me open up my developer tools, and let me log this out to the console to make sure we are indeed getting our user in here. I can show you guys. Close this a little bit. Add a user, so say Rick is 30, add user, so we're getting an object with the name of Rick and age of 30. All right, cool. So looks like we're getting into our function, into our controller. So once we have a user, we'll say if user, and we'll say if user.name and user.age. So if there's a user and we have the user.name, I guess we can chain this into one, user.name, user, and user.name and user.age, console.log, about to create user. I know some people are going to say, why aren't you creating services, factories? Again, the scope of this application doesn't really call for that, but you're welcome to. I don't think I really need to. About to create a user, else, console.log, you have not supplied enough details. All right, so let's try it out again, right? I guess you really wouldn't make it that far if I don't know how you would really reach that condition, but if someone did, just in case, you always want to have more validation. I don't know if you do or not, maybe. But anyways, so if we do get to this point, then what we want to do is we want to post. So we're going to http://api/users. We pass along this as the request body. So let's go in here, and then also if this succeeds, then we want to do. Want to go back in here to vm.getUsers. We're going to call that. So let's go in here and wire up our route, which is going to be a post, right? So we're going to do router.post /API/users. It's going to take in a function, a request, and a response. And we're going to create a new instance of our model. So a new model, do model .save. It's going to take in a request.body, because hopefully all the details are there. Function, error, and a user. We say if there's an error, then response.status 500, I guess. It's probably an internal server error that's going on. And we can send the error. Else, response dot status with 201, which is the status code for successfully created on a post request, and it will send the user. And looks like that's all we need for that. Request.body. So let's actually try this out to make sure we're not full of shit and it's working. So say Liam, and Liam is 24. So let's try and post this. But one more thing I want to do, actually, I want to clean up something in our user interface. So when this posts, we actually want to do vm.user, set the form equal to empty form. But more than that, we can close it and we can do, we can come in here and do vm.addUser is, and you click add user, let me do vm.addUser, vm.addUser, .addUser is, let me uncapitalize it, vm.addUser, and add user, and then we'll set it equal to false when we post. vm.addUser equals false. Alright, so let me try that out real quick. What did I do wrong? vm.addUser is not equal to vm.addUser, ng-hide vm.addUser. I think that was the last one. Let me try this again. Add user, cool. Back. Why is back not working? Let me see. Add user, oh my bad. Add user, vm.addUser. I think, oh, that's the last of them. Cool. So let me try it out. So we're going to do Liam. He's 24. Let's try it out. Click add. It posts, and why is it refusing it? HTTP localhost 3000 API users. Let me think. Why is it refusing it? Router.post function request response. Why is it refusing it? Callback is not a function. Model.save request body. Callback is not a function. Node.js. Node.save request body. Maybe that's it. Let me try this real quick. Try and go back here. Why is it still refusing it? Quest.body. Function. Model.save. Oh, okay. I think I know what we need to do. New model with request.body. And then let me change this. Model.save function error user. Let me see if that's good. Is it like that? Let's try it out one more time. Ah, crap. Let me just delete this user real quick. db.users. I'll just delete him in Mongo real quick. So let me delete this user. Delete documents. Yes. And make it back. Cool. So we're going to add a user. It's going to be user with Liam, and it's going to be 25. We'll add. So about to create user. It did create our user. However, for some strange reason, let me see. Looks like it did work. It just get. It did not like that. That's not good. Model with request.body. Alright, we're just going to do it the long way, I guess. New model. We'll do model.name equals request.body.name, and model.age equals request.body.age. And we'll try this one more time. Go in here and delete this document. See if that. Alright, add our user, Liam, and age 25. So post slash is an internal server error. Why is it an internal server error? Let me log out what we're getting in our request.body real quick. Request.body, just real quick, see what we're getting. So add user, Liam, and 25, and then let's see what we're getting. Canary property name of undefined, and I think I know why. Because we have put this all after a route, so we're not actually getting any data back, or we're not actually being able to parse this. So let me put this above, and now let me try. I have Liam and 25. Let me open this up again. Look, okay, there we go. Got a request.body with the name of Liam and age of 25. He is indeed inserted into the database. If we go to API users, there he is, Liam and 25. Cool. So our add user works. What do we want to do now? Now we want to implement the functionality to edit a user. But let's do delete first because that's a little quicker. So on our delete, what we're going to do is we're going to do ng-click equals vm.remove user, and we're going to pass in that instance of a user. So back here in our app.js, or not app, sorry, in index, do vm.remove user is a function which takes in a user, and we're going to say if there's a user, obviously there will be, but let's just check. Then we're going to do http.delete, or say /API/users, and we're going to pass it the user.id. Then we're going to do .then function response, and from there we're just going to call vm.getUsers just to make sure we're updating our users correctly. And in here, let's wire up our delete route. So we do, this is our post. Let's create our delete route. So we're going to say router.delete /API/users. It's going to take in a function, a request, and a response. And we're going to do var id equals request.body.id. And then we'll do model.remove, and we can pass it in the ID, which is the ID, and a function, error, and a response. So it's an if error and response dot status 500 dot send error, else do response dot status 200 dot send message success on deleting user. And so let's try that out. Let me come in here and let's go in here again. Let's try and delete Liam. So let's see, refresh. No, that did not work. Let me see why not. So it goes into vm.remove user, vm.remove user, function user, console.log. What's the user that we're getting? Alright, let me try this again. So delete Theo. We're getting this object with an ID. Alright, cool. So if user.id, API users, user._id, re.delete /API/users. So let's go in here and console.log request.body, make sure we're actually getting what we want from our API. Alright, so let me look at this real quick. Do delete. So we're getting an empty object. Why is that? Request.body. Oh, I think I know why. I think because delete doesn't accept the request.body, it only accepts request.param/id. So what we're going to do is, what we're ID, API/user/ID, and then we're going to pass it along like this. So we're going to do API/users/ plus user ID. Now it should work. Let me try this one more time. Delete Theo. It's an empty object. Why is it an empty object? Liam. It's an empty object again. API/users plus user ID. And our ID equals request dot params dot ID. Let me try this one more time. Theo. Okay, cool. We did indeed delete Theo, and we got it back. And then we also got get of home. All right, cool. And let's try and delete Liam. Awesome, and we get Liam. So we've indeed implemented our delete. Let me add my user back again, Theo, in 23. Awesome, we have that back. And from there, what we're going to want to do is finally implement our edit function. We're going to implement two more. We're going to implement edit and then a details view. So to implement edit, what we're going to do is sort of just an edit inline. So let me try that out. So go in here, and we have these as our TDs in here, and but we only want to show these if this is going to be ngIf not editing, or we'll just do we'll do ngIf not editing, ngIf edit, and alright, ngIf not editing. So these are going to show, and then when we click on it, what do we want to do? We're going to do ngClick. We're going to say editing equals not editing. So let me try this out, see if it goes away. Do edit. There it goes. It goes away. Now, in the place of that, what we want to show is two other TDs that say ngIf editing, and inside of here we want to bind the input. Say ngModel is the user dot name, and then also we want to do one more TD with the ngIf of editing, and we want to bind the input type of text. Class equals form control, and style equals width 250 pixels, and then this one will be ngModel of user.age, and then class of form control with a style of width 250 pixels, and then from there, let's just make sure this is indeed working for us. So we can click edit, and this is going to change to two text boxes. Edit. Alright, that's working, but why are we not getting parse and syntax? User.age, ngModel. I think because we don't need to actually interpolate inside of here because this already expects an Angular expression. Let me try that one more time. Edit. There we go. We're getting our data. It's kind of cool. You don't see that a lot. So awesome. I think also the other thing we want to do is when you're editing a user, maybe the delete goes away just because it's kind of annoying. So we can do ngHide if we're editing, just to free up some more real estate on the screen. So we can do edit, and then delete goes away, and edit, and then we can in place of that we can put a back button. So we can do button class of button primary, and ngHide is not editing. Some people might give me flack here for not using ngIf. Again, I'm just really going for functionality. And back, and then this is going to do ngClick equals not editing, or editing equals not editing. So let's try that out real quick. So do edit, let me click back, edit, back, edit, 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 awesome, back, cool. So that's it, guys. I'd say the only annoying thing about this is that it sort of looks like you're hitting up both of them, even though you're not. It's just that's sort of the way it's working. But you know, whatever. That's not really the end of the world. I think why that's happening is when you're clicking edit, you know, you're getting a larger space here. So that's all that it really is. But I think even then we could change that if we really wanted to. We could change this to like 100 pixels and make it more less annoying. Edit 100 pixels, you know, it's not that big of a deal though. So once we're in edit, you know, how do we want to change this from edit to save? Let's create one more button class equals button success, and this is going to be save, and this is going to have a event listener of ng click will be update user. This will take in the user. So what we're going to do there is we're going to update it, but we're also going to do we're going to pass it editing is equal to false. So check this out, right? So you come in here and hold on, let me hide it as well. So we're gonna ng hide if not editing. So let me try this. Here we go, edit and then save. Right, but now when you hit edit, I want it to, so let's see, editing, ng hide, just editing. Alright, so edit, save goes away. Alright, cool. It's pretty neat. So we got our whole interface wired up, and let's actually save this. So what we're going to do is come into our index and do vm.update user is a function which accepts a user. We'll say if there's a user, then we want to do a http.put /API/users with the user, and do a .then function response, and we're just going to say updated user, and we're going to call vm.get users. So let's create our method in here in our server, which is a put, which is going to be put request, which is an update. We'll do router.put /API/users, and then this is going to take in a function with a request, function with a request and a response. And then from there, what do we want to do? We want to do model find by ID, and we're going to say request.body.id, and then taking a function which is going to take in an error and a user. We say if there's an error, then response.send or response.status for.send error, else we're going to do user.update, which just takes in a function, error and a user, or error and a success, I guess, but I guess we should keep it with user.update. So there's an error updating it. There's an error updating it. Then we will response.send error, else. Let me see. Let me look at MongoDB update. Let me see if we can find this. Let me look real quick. MongoDB update. Stack. I'm trying to think about how I did this real quick. Let's look at this real quick. All right. dot update doc ID function result. Use that function dot update. Let me look real quick at another project I was doing this morning. Honestly, forget the update one. It's under programming, and then it's going to be under regular scheduler. Let me look at what I did to update real quick. Job.update request.body, and then function error success. Alright, request.body.id, find by ID, child.update request.body, function error success, response. Okay, go back in here, function error success, user.update, function error success, and if error response send, else response.send, response.status, I guess 200, and send message success. So now user.update request.body, and let me look one more time at that just to make sure we've got it right. Request.body, function or success. Alright, I think that's it. That's what I hate though about Node. It's like callback hell. So I think that's good. See if I'm getting any errors. No. Well, I don't know. That was a lot of like work without testing, but whatever. Let's try it out. So we do edit, change this to Jonathan or Jonathan. Let's try and save this. Jonathan. Looks like it persisted, and it has indeed persisted through our database. Let's try and change this. Change my name to Theodore. Let's save this. So again, it's persisted to Theodore. So we've now implemented all CRUD functionality, which is pretty cool. Let me change one thing to our model. I want to just use some very basic validation. So we're going to pass this an object instead. So it's going to be a name. My bad. It's going to be a name with a type of string, and we want required to be true. And we just format this a little better. And also age, we want this to be an object with a type, be number, and required is true. And that looks good to go. What is it telling me now? Age is age. Why does it not like that? Okay. And let me format that a little bit better. And that's good to go. So, awesome 35. And let's try and change that. And Rick from 25. Let's try and add him. Alright, cool. It's just some very basic validation right there. And so that's good. One last thing we want to implement real quick is in here we're going to have down here a details container. I don't know why I'm naming these, but I'm not really styling them, but whatever. And we'll do ng if vm.detailed user vm.detailed equal to true. Say h1 you are viewing. We'll just give this a jumbotron. And say you are, or my bad, h1 you are viewing the details of. So what we're going to do now is on here, when they're not editing it, click on it, do vm.showDetails, we'll pass in the user, and we'll just make this so for all of these, not editing, yeah, and then on here we'll do ng hide vm.details. Is that what I said? vm.detail. So let me try and run this now. And so ng click vm.showDetails. User, come in here and do vm.showDetails. Is a function which takes in a user. So vm.detail user. So vm.detail user is equal to the user, and vm.detail is equal to true. So if that works, you see if this does. Click here. No, it's not working. vm.showDetails. vm.showDetails user, and we're hiding this one. This is vm.detail. vm.detail. And then let me give this a cursor pointer so that I know to click on it for style. Cursor pointer. We'll add this to these two. Let me try this one more time. Click. There we go. You're viewing the details of let me implement this just 1 second. So what we're going to do is go into this function and hold on 1 second. So anyway, sorry, I did some text real quick. Go in here and let me change this to an H3 because that's probably better suited for this. And you're viewing the details, so that's cool. We also would want like an X or something inside of here. Div dot close and X and we'll do style, font size 50 pixels. And let's just try to see what this looks like. There it is. That's not bad, I guess. And maybe the what do we want to do? We'll do color is black. And ng click, when you click on this, it's going to do vtemp.detail is equal to false. So it's going to take you back there. Just click, and we can go back. Click, go back. So a pretty decent user interface. And add user, maybe we want this to go away as well. So add, we can hide this. ng hide if vm.detailed. So let's click on that. What the heck? vm.detailed is equal to true. Button ng hide. Oh, sorry, not that one. We want to do add user, so we can do ng hide vm.user or vm.detailed. So let's try that out one more time. What the heck is going on? vm.detailed. Detailed with a true, and alright, cool. So we want to pass in the details of the user we're viewing, obviously. So we can do viewing the detailed of vm.detailed user dot ID. So let's try that out. Let's click here, viewing the details of user number. Pass the ID, and there we go. And let's just pass in their credentials real quick. So we're going to do h3 vm.detail user.name, and another h3 real quick of vm.detail user.age, and there it is, Jonathan 35. And let's just make this a little more friendly. Age. Cool. And there it is, Theodore, Rick, and Jonathan. Awesome. So we have implemented a full CRUD application at this point. Now let's get it ready for deployment. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into my GitHub, and I'm going to sign in. And from there, I'm going to make a new repository called mean end to end, mean stack end to end. All right, now we got that. Let me wire up my file. So get init, get add. We're gonna add all, and we're gonna get commit, first commit, getting ready for deployment. So it's added everything. Get status. Let me just check to make sure. Get status and get diff. All right, now let me wire this up. So we're gonna do get remote add. We want to add it to this endpoint. My bad. Get remote add. So it's been added. And then we do get push origin master. So looks like it's writing the objects. Let's wire it up to Heroku. So I'm going to do Heroku login. I'm going to enter my credentials real quick. Alright, should be logged in now. Let's do Heroku create. And creating app. Looks like we have indeed created it. Let me go into my Heroku account. And need to log in real quick. And once you've logged in, you can see which it should be Blooming Fortress. So that is right there. We want to add a add-on of Mongo Labs. I'm going to go in here, Mongo Labs. All right, we'll sandbox. We want to provision our database for deployment. And what we need to do now is go in here and access our shell. So I'm going to change out our, well, one more thing we need to do. We need to create a proc file. Basically, this tells Heroku when it's configured for web, how to start our app. So we're going to say web node server.js. And the only other thing we need to do is instead of connecting to this instance, we're going to switch this out to this right here. So let's try that. And I'm going to change this to my username and password. So users, and then we add a database user. So we'll say Theo, give it a password of DougLife25. And let me just create this. I might change the password afterwards if you guys really want to like hack my database or something. So it's Theo, and then we'll change this to DougLife25. This is a connection string. From there, I think we should have everything partitioned for deployment. Let's go back in here and let me add everything back on. Git add, git commit, getting Mongo Lab ready, and a git push origin master. Let's push our changes, and they hook up our GitHub repository. So I'm going to go under deploy, and add a GitHub repository. And what is this one called again? This is called mean. Let's look. So this is, what is this? Mean end to end. I'm going to connect to this repository. And now I'm going to deploy it. So I'm going to deploy my branch. This is going to go through the whole deployment process. Wrap up all my files, installing my modules, succeeding it, or making it successful. My proc file declaring type of web, that's where that is. Getting my node modules. It says it's already deployed. Let's see. I'm sure there's an error. Let's view it. Let's try and see if this actually works. So let's look. It might take a little while because it's spinning it up for the first time. And let's see if we did anything right or anything wrong for that matter. Let's look. So this could be a good or bad sign. If it's a bad sign, you usually see application error. So give this a few minutes, maybe. See if it works. Remember the first time I did it, I got a lot of things wrong. And you can look at the logs in your command line or terminal, whatever. but let's see what's happening. So why is it just lagging there? Let's look at the logs and see what's going on. So process. Oh, we need to give it a web processor. So we'll do Heroku pscale. We need to give it a web worker, or dynos rather. So that's why it's not running. So I'll do pscale web equals 2. I think with the free version you're only allowed, they only give you one web worker. Let's try that. Let's scale it. Scaling dynos. Now we have one running for free. And let's try and run our application again. Now it shouldn't lag on us because we're actually, hopefully we have our web worker running. So let's see. See if this works for us. Come on, any minute now. Alright, let me try this again. Let me do Heroku open. And let's see if this is going to work for us. Application error. Why is it an application error? Let's see. Heroku logs. And what is the error? Web process failed to bind with import. Okay, I might have to build it again. That's frustrating. Build this again. And sometimes you just have to do this, and I'd say Heroku is fairly easy as well. So let's view it, and hopefully it works. It's not a good sign. Heroku logs. Storing process listening. Connected to MongoDB. It is connected. Why it's taking so freaking long now. Crash to starting. Yeah, it doesn't like that. Application error. What's the error? Heroku logs. Web process failed to bind the port within 60 seconds of launch. Let's look that up. Never gotten that before. Alright. Assigns your app by port, so you can't set a port. Oh, right. So, another thing I messed up. Let's try this out again. Change this to, because it's not going to listen on this port. So let's say process.environment.port or 3000 and listening on listening or port equals process.environment.port or 3000. We'll change this to port and listening on port plus port, and that is why. Let me add this again. Git add, git commit, added process environment port, and git push origin master, and let's build it one more time. So let's go back into Heroku. All right. Come on, Heroku, and I want to deploy. Let's go. But yeah, I think my favorite part of building mean stack applications is probably this, RoboMongo. It's freaking awesome. Like, who doesn't like RoboMongo? I don't know. I think it's really, really cool. Just looking at different collections and just like seeing that interface. Come on, man. All right. So it's Blooming Fortress. I know I'm pretty impatient, but so let's deploy it again, and let's build it. I don't know if we necessarily need to build it again. Probably just need to Yeah, I guess we do. Build succeeded. Progressing. Done. Released. It's deployed. Let's view it. Hopefully this time it will work for us. Hopefully. Let's see if I haven't screwed up. No. Why not? Heroku logs. What's the problem this time? Cannot read property port of undefined. Did I do this wrong as well? Process.environment.port. Okay, man, this is frustrating. Okay, get add, get commit, and corrected port name, get push origin master. Alright, let's try and deploy it one more time. Alright, a lot of errors. This is the process of live coding, I guess. So go in here and deploy one more time. Let's deploy this branch. But I still think like with Heroku it is fairly simple to deploy compared to like I've used Azure and stuff. I'm just like for a beginner, you know, which I still think I am. It's like, I don't know, this is a much quicker process, especially if you hook it into GitHub. So let's view it, and hopefully my app works this time. I hope. Let's see what went wrong, or maybe it'll work this time. So let's see. Hasn't crashed yet. Alright, come on. Let's look at the logs. See what's going on. State change from crash to port undefined. Alright, looks like we're in. Let's test out our app. Say name, Theo, and age of 23. Let's add it. Looks like that works. Let's try and edit him. Theodore. Let's save. And then let's view. Alright, that works. Let's delete. Add one more, Rick, and 25. We'll add one more user, Theo, and 23. Add him. Awesome, Theo, and Rick. Alright, and let's delete Rick. Alright, guys. So we indeed deployed our app to Heroku, and we have officially finished creating our MeanStack application. So it took a while, and there's a lot of things I could have modularized better, but again, I was going for functionality. So that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Really wanted to put this out for you guys. So make sure to like, comment, and as always, guys, please subscribe and support the channel. It means so much to me. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.